Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
Welcome to Corruption Watch Live, your partner in corruption fighting.
Good afternoon. I'm Phemelo Khass, your host on CWL Live, your partner in corruption fighting. I am a media liaison at Corruption Watch, but when I'm behind this mic, I'm representing you, our listeners, on all matters relating corruption. This afternoon, we're going to be talking about what the organization has been up to since our last show, and we're also going to talk about a bit about what we can look forward to in the month of August. We're going to be joined by three of my colleagues from all the way from our offices in 87 Ducourt Street. Just be aware that we do welcome walk-ins. So when you have a corruption case, you can come to our offices in Braamfontein, 87 Ducourt Street, like I said, to report your matter of corruption. My first conversation will be with patients, and we're going to be talking about the Walk the Talk campaign that the organization was part of. So this year, Corruption Once joined the 50,000 people and thousands of pets and approximately 50 charities on the Joburg roads for the 702 Walk the Talk on Sunday, the 22nd of July. This was a fundraising initiative which had a target of raising 250,000. Like I said, we joined telephonically Patience, who is our marketing and communication manager. She is heading up our fundraising campaign. Welcome, Patience. Hello, Patience. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Thank you so much for joining this conversation. So Corruption Watch didn't take part in the walk as a charity in previous years. Why did we take part this year?
Okay, so we basically wanted to explore the idea of peer-to-peer fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
So we also wanted to leverage the network of our supporters. So what we did basically was we asked people to join our 21 Craft Challenge in the build-up to the MTN Walk the Talk with 702. So we basically wanted them to sponsor our walk.
Yes.
But at the same time, they would have to make a donation first and then challenge others to do the same.
That's awesome. And the target was 250,000. Were we able to reach that target?
And we are still working on it.
Yes.
We're still working in progress. So now we spent over 150,000 rand.
Wow.
From donors, from more than 90 donors. So we're talking about your 100 rand donation. We're talking about your 5,000, 10,000, 500, 25,000 rand. So it has been really, 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 really encouraging to see the response from the members of the public.
So what type of people donate to such an campaign?
Well, you also can donate to such a fundraiser. Everyone is welcome to donate. So we wanting people to support the work that we do as Corruption Watch in the fight against corruption. And we are saying, let's take the fight against corruption in our hands. Let's also support the initiatives that the organizations such as Corruption Watch is doing by financially supporting Corruption Watch.
So I didn't know. Perhaps I'm one of those people who didn't know that you're trying to raise this 150,000. Now that I know, can I be part of it, and how can I be part of it?
Okay, so we still have a long way. We still need to raise about 100,000 to reach our 250,000 target.
Yes.
So if 500 people can contribute 200 rand in the build up to our deadline, we'll be able to reach our goal. So I'm appealing to the members of the public to join our efforts in the fight against corruption in South Africa, and they can do that by going to our website. We have a pop-up there that's readily available, and to take them to our landing page, our fundraising landing page.
So great. It sounds like it's easy to give. Like, do I have to give you my account details? Am I protected as a giver?
Okay, so what happens is we give you options. You can donate via our Give and Gain, which is a crowdfunding platform. So you can do a donation online, and they also have a provision for you to do an EFT online. But then, if you are uncomfortable with online giving, you can also make a contribution by our bank account.
Okay, great. I like that better, the option better.
Yeah.
You said 200 Rand. I think I can put you in my budget. And then let's you do that. Seems like it's something that I can afford. Thank you so much for joining us. I think I'm more knowledgeable now. You are listening to Corruption Watch Live, your partner in corruption fighting, and I'm your host, Phemelo Khass. Like I said, that we're not only going to talk about the things that we got up to, but we're also going to talk about the things that we're looking forward into the month of August. And one of the things that we are looking forward to is that in the next couple of days, in the month of August, we're going to be releasing a 2018 analysis of corruption trends report, aka the ACT report. So this is a yearly report analysis of the first 6 months. To discuss this, we are joined also telephonically by Melusi Ncala, who is a researcher at Corruption Watch. Welcome, Melusi.
Thank you, Phemelo.
Thank you so much for joining us. Melusi, what is the significance of this ACT report?
Well, the ACT report is a portrait of all the cases that we have received in the first 6 months of this year. We try to publish this report annually, as you have indicated. And what's so special about this report is that these are ordinary people, ordinary South Africans from different walks of life, who approach Corruption Watch, informing us of what's actually happening in our license centers, our health facilities, the police service, and most importantly, our schools. So these are accounts of ordinary people telling us how corruption is a scourge to our society.
And what can we look forward to in this report?
In this report, as we are heading into Women's Month from the 1st of August, what we will see are trends that are not to be taken lightly.
Yeah.
In that we are seeing cases of sextortion. These are cases where students are being asked to give their markers, be it teachers or principals, sex in exchange for marks or for promotion to next grade. We're seeing trends where police officers are abusive towards women. So it's quite a sad story to tell this time around.
And can you just share one, sorry to put you on the spot. I know that we don't want to divulge too much because we're only launching the report next month. But can you just share one of the corruption trend that we are seeing that we have not witnessed in previous years? Like just discuss it more and why maybe we're seeing it more this year and not the other years?
Well, as I indicated, sextortion is on the increase.
But why is that?
We alluded to.
Why do we think that that's...
This is something that we... This is something that we alluded to in the previous edition, and with this time around, with the perception, at least as we see in our media, that women are targeted in terms of violence, and we understand as well that children are victimized in schools. In the last 6 months, there have been harrowing accounts of these appearing in our media, and I believe people also realize that another avenue that they can explore to discuss this is Corruption Watch, to bring people's attention to it.
It's very interesting that we are seeing such a rise of these issues everywhere, and it's very interesting that we're seeing it in corruption, that corruption does affect women in a different way, that women are more sensitive towards such more than any other gender or one other gender. So it's a very interesting discussion for me. And it's this report, who's the target for this report? Who reads it? Who would be interested to read it? Who is it for? Who's the audience?
Well, Phemelo, you are most certainly welcome to read this report. And we also would encourage your listeners to read this report. This is a report for all South Africans. It's an easy read.
Yeah.
It's nothing complex. It's not riddled with legalese, so to speak. It is a straightforward account of what's happening, and we have written it in a language so that it's relatable to everyone, so that people, as they read it, they can see their stories, because it's ultimately the voice of the people. We are rehashing, if I can put it that way, or recounting at least the stories as told by our whistleblowers.
Yeah. And finally, Melusi, how would we access this report once it's launched? And are you able to give us a date? Because I've been saying August. If you're able to give us a date, that'll be amazing.
At the moment, the report is provisionally scheduled to be released on the week of the 5th. So we're looking at the 6th, perhaps, of August.
Okay.
Just before Women's Day. And it can be accessed on our online platform, www.corruptionwatch.org.za. And of course, if people would like to have a hard copy, they're welcome to visit us in our offices.
Great. And like I said, that our offices are in Braamfontein, Johannesburg, 87 De Court Street. Thank you so much for joining us, Melusi. You are listening to CW Live, your partner in corruption fighting, and I am your host, Khass. Let's take a quick break, and right after that, we will play We Are Ncala by Viwe.
Harnessing the power of talk radio. brandlive.co.za.
Can you tell that I'm coming closer? And I don't wanna see no females acting fresh when I show up. And when I see you, my heart's roller coaster. I forget about the pastor, the Luhoiwa. I don't got no other lover in mind. And if we're gonna take this forward, catch me outside. I don't got no other baby in mind. And if we're gonna make this happen, let's do it right. Can you tell who I'm waiting for you, just follow. I'm waiting for you, just follow me. Can you tell my body's moving slow? And I just can't take my eyes off you. I can tell you noticing the glow up. I forget who you with, tell who you are. I don't got no other lover in mind. Oh, if you wanna take this forward, catch me outside. Yeah. I don't got no other baby in mind. And if we're about to make this happen, let's do it right. Yeah. Can you tell who you're just my type? wasting my time. I'm waiting for you, just follow me. You're just my type, wasting my time. I'm waiting for you, just follow me. You're my weekend special. Can you hold me down when no one's around? I want tonight to last forever. Maybe we can be something later. Have to go, I won't regret ya. Feel so good, I won't forget ya. Say something good to me. I don't got no other lover in mind. And if we're gonna take this forward, catch me outside. I don't got no other baby in mind. And if we're gonna make this happen, let's do it right. Let's do it right, let's do it right. You're just my type, wasting my time. I'm waiting. You know that I like you, baby. You're just my type, wasting my time. I'm waiting for you, just follow me. Let's do it right, let's do it right. Oh, both days are young time. You know that I like you, baby. Yeah. And it's Khass when I'm, hey.
Viewer with Leanne Ncala. So the next conversation I'm going to have is with Leanne Govindsamy, who is the head of legal and investigation at Corruption Watch. This is about the Public Investment Corporation, the PIC. So they have called for submissions to the bill amendments. The PIC is the only investment management in South Africa that focuses exclusively on public sector. Their clients are government employees pension fund, unemployment insurance fund, that's the UIF, Associated Institution Pension Fund, and the Compensation Commissioner. So therefore, the public are investors and beneficiaries of the PIC investments. Hence, Corruption Watch is an interested party in the new bill. Welcome, Leanne.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time. Why is the good governance of the PIC important to Corruption Watch?
Look, good governance both at the PIC and at all state-owned entities has become incredibly important given the immense amount of looting, maladministration and corruption that's taken place over the last few years. We regard this as being irregular expenditure of the largest amount involving and indeed affecting service delivery and a large range of other issues. So it's the scope of the amounts of money that are involved that I think also affect how the employees themselves and those responsible for governance view those amounts. When you're faced with dealing with large amounts of money, large investments, smaller amounts seem to be easier to siphon away from the institution, possibly a justification. And we have been incredibly involved around other SOEs, and so we are involved with looking at the PIC and the range of corruption allegations that have arisen over the last few weeks, even months, allegations about its executive management, around board governance, etc.
Yeah. And the Minister of Finance has set up forensic investigation to look into the allegations of corruptions at the PIC. That is a very interesting move by the Minister of Finance. What are your views?
Look, I think it's about time that there is a proper investigation into this. There's been a number of allegations, denials by executives, different viewpoints even between the minister and the deputy minister around
how to take this forward. So it's good that there's going to be this independent inquiry, and I hope that the inquiry, whether it's done through the board or in any other way, is in fact independent, that it covers not only the discrete issues around the allegations, but looks at the processes that are involved here, whether there's sufficient guidelines and processes to prevent this kind of thing happening in the future, what are the issues that are taking place at the PIC, and how we can really find meaningful solutions. It is important also that, in as much as there is the forensic investigation, the details of which are not completely clear at this point, that there is also proper sanctions, both disciplinary and criminal, that are meted out against those that are found to be involved.
I would want to know then, with this forensic investigation, who then would be responsible for to make sure that people are prosecuted and the people that are implicated get what is due to them. Can we as Corruption Watch get this forensic report, and make sure that people who are named and investigated to be at the wrong, that they are then persecuted as they should?
Look, there's two separate processes that appear to be running here. The one is in relation to a forensic investigation around particular individuals, and that seems to be something that the board will be mandated to do.
Okay.
So the board will then also be responsible for implementing any recommendations that should come out of it, be they disciplinary or referrals to the criminal bodies. We understand that there's also, from media reports, there's a SAST investigation that's underway. Again, the details are not clear, and we're not sure, whether the Hawks are involved in this and whether they are investigating and where they are with those investigations. But again, you would have to see them as kind of different processes. I think it is an important point, though, to make that we do need a lot more transparency around these sanctions. We often hear that there's investigations, that there's, whether it be criminal or forensic, that are underway at these institutions, but we're not really, as the general public or civil society, kept abreast of what the outcomes are and what the sanctions are. And delays in this kind of thing are hugely problematic, and it needs to be dealt with quite a bit of haste.
I totally agree. I think we are very tired of celebrating these announcements of investigations and inquiries, really. We need to move to a point where we know what happens after those announcements are made. And so Corruption Watch has recently commented on the proposed amendments to the PIC Act. What are the main features that Corruption Watch has made to this bill amendment?
Look, the amendments themselves, there were not many amendments, but they really focused on improving the appointment and the functioning of the board and transparency and good governance. And so based on the amendments that they have proposed, the kind of things that we've said is that there should be a more public and transparent process for the appointment of board members, perhaps something similar to the process followed for the public protector. Again, you're dealing with a number of different board members who need to have the skills, the capacity, and really the commitment to managing this investment entity really well. And we would want the public and civil society to be involved in those processes. We also submitted around the due diligence around members of the board. So, without casting aspersions around the actual board members and their integrity, it's important from a process perspective that you have the best people, both in skills and capacity, that are appointed to that board, that there's constant due diligence that's done in respect of them, and that they are held accountable to their fiduciary responsibilities as the accounting authority for that institution. the buck really stops with them, and they need to be held accountable for what happens, whether or not they were directly involved, or whether it's the executive that's involved. Whatever the issue is, they should be held accountable, and their own kind of their role needs to be constantly looked at and revised. We've also spoken about, developing guidelines for investment decisions. There's been a lot of controversy around particular investments that the PIC has made. Again, this is a sector which does involve risk, which does involve, looking at particular entities that are invested in and taking those risks. But it is important that you do have some guidelines around that, and that there's scope for the interrogation of those investments should anything difficult arise, and that somebody should be held accountable to say, yes, we did our due diligence. These are the reasons we made the investment. Yes, it was with a due amount of risk, but we did it in good faith, etc. So that's the kind of submissions that we've made on the amendment bill.
I have so many questions about this PIC bill amendments because it's such a dense subject for me, but unfortunately we have run out of time. But we should maybe schedule a time where we talk about SOE boards, because these type of conversations are coming up every time we talk corruption. Let's talk about what these boards are for, what their responsibilities, what type of characters they should have. I think this is a very important conversation we should have in future.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. You are listening to Corruption Watch Live, your partner in corruption fighting. I am your host, Khass. Till next time.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za.